You might know Nepal as home to the world's highest peak, Mount Everest, as the place where the Buddha was born, or as the location of many sites sacred to the world's Hindus. This country is also a geopolitical hotspot, encircled by the world's giants, China and India, eyeing one another warily over the Himalayan range. I'm Marty Logan. As a Canadian journalist who's lived here going on 13 years, what astonishes me about Nepal is the ever-rising number of people leaving the country to find work or to study. About 70,000 a month are flying out for jobs overseas, mostly to Malaysia and Persian Gulf countries, South Korea and Japan. Do the math, and that's more than 800,000 a year from a country of 29 million people. Of course, most come back after 2, 3, or more years abroad. Some of them stay home, but many leave again as soon as they scope out a new opportunity. For decades, huge numbers of the poorest Nepalis have been walking across the open border to India to work. The practice is so ingrained that these workers aren't even counted. They could number 500,000 or a few million. 300 students a day are getting written permission to migrate so they can study abroad, at last count. Many don't return after graduating. They settle in their new country and become non-resident Nepalis. What happens to these people who shift their lives abroad in order to improve the lives of those they leave behind? Many, but not all, workers send money home regularly, providing a steady income, something elusive in Nepal. Some even save. But what about family relationships when loved ones live apart year after year? Of husbands and wives, migrant parents and their children, migrant children and their aging parents left alone in Nepal. Although it's changing fast, most Nepalis still live in multi-generational joint families rather than nuclear ones, where children are expected to care for their elders as once they were cared for. Migration changes that. What's happening to this country, from which nearly every young person I meet wants to flee as fast as possible, while, ironically, Nepal's allure as a global tourism hotspot continues growing. In one way, Nepal benefits massively. Remittances from abroad now make up about a quarter of its gross domestic product. But villages are emptying, and fewer farmers remain to grow the food the country needs. Of course, migration from poorer to wealthier countries is a global trend, so you can hear echoes in Nepal of other people's journeys. But Nepalese experiences are unique to them. On this show, we talk to the people leaving and sometimes returning to this country. If possible, we check in with them after they've settled in their new homes to learn if the reality matches their expectations. Occasionally, we talk to officials or experts to better understand why so many Nepalis are on the move. We post new episodes every 2 weeks. Like, follow, or subscribe now so you don't miss the next one. If you can't wait, check out our 24 previous episodes right now. Nepal Now on the Move is on all the podcast apps.